So for this follow page, what I actually want to go ahead and do is I want to extract this component into its own component. So if we head into, in this case, we'll head into our resources page just to take a look at how our folder is structured. So currently we have views, components. Sorry, we need to go into Livewire components. And we have who to follow. So what we can go ahead and do now is we can create a who to follow page, folder here. Then we will go ahead and move this in here. So we're going to go ahead and just refactor that into here. And we're going to do the same thing in this case for in here. We're going to have a who to follow. For this one here, we also want to go ahead and just go in and make sure we have the namespace in here to who to follow, like that. So what I want to go ahead and do now is we want to make another component. So inside components, who to follow. Inside here, we want to have user list. And this doesn't need to be an inline component. So we want to just copy and paste this one in here and have Livewire who to follow. User list, pass in the users, or even them actually, we can just literally just get the users in here. So inside here, we want to go ahead and, in this case, take this user in here. We also want to go ahead and make sure we have this bit here, so we'll essentially get rid of this here. Actually, let's move this up here just to tidy it up. And we can then go ahead and make sure we have this to follow function. And then what we can go ahead and do is inside here, we now don't need the users list, so we have it in here instead. So the home page is now broken because we have to update this one in here to make sure that it says who to follow. We also want to make sure inside with the PHP that inside our who to follow component here that we have everything set. So we have the placeholder, which is fine, that needs to be there. And then we just need in here who to follow with the who to follow component. This, in this case, go ahead now and say PHP artisan optimize. Or view clear, actually, that should be fine. Let's run dev. And we also need to go ahead and change this inside right sidebar. There we go. So currently we just need to make sure we now head into our who to follow here. So because PHP Storm has this memory of this bit of the code here, we can go ahead and just copy and paste this in here. And then we just say user list. There we go. And if we click show more, we get this page. So what we can go ahead and do now is inside follow list, we have this Livewire components who to follow user list. And if we head into follow a list, we can get rid of this. we now get the same page. Now, this one thing I wanted to change from the beginning is this just hovers the component, but we want this to hover the individual user. So if we take a look at this user list component in here for the CSS styling, let's go ahead. In here we have this duration, which we need to get rid of here. We want to add that in here. And then we want to just copy and paste this in here as well. There we go. And if we go back in here, you can see that we now have this hovering over the individual user, which just looks a little bit more user-friendly and makes the application feel a bit more useful. So this essentially allows us to now go ahead and unfollow this list here. Now, the only issue we have is we have 3 going through here, and that obviously makes sense because on the home page we only want to show a small selection, but on this page we want to show a larger selection. So if we go into our user list, what we want to go ahead and do is we want to in here have a public integer of in this case limit, and let's set that by default to 3. So we can go ahead and say this limit. I'm gonna go ahead for readability to go ahead and add this onto a new line. And then because we are setting it by default to 3, so we don't actually have to provide this value, we just need to set in here limit, and in this case we say 12. And there we go. So now we just have a random list of followers. I mean, I would obviously recommend that for your site you should use an algorithm if you are gonna follow through to use this and to display all of the users in here. But this essentially goes ahead and it allows us to just go between the pages. It works super quickly. We still have the ability in here to see this component loading with the lazy loading, and it just looks really nice. So that's essentially all for this video. Over the next couple of videos we're going to be working on specifically to be able to view a tweet and to reply and comment on it, and then we're going to start quoting a tweet, and that's about it. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.